Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're over here rocking out. Let me turn this down a little bit. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I should say good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday's edition of Coffee Chat with Sam G and
JCG.
Hope you guys had a great weekend. We're going to get this train moving here. Go ahead and share the link for us, if you will. Feel free to comment. We're going to share with you guys this morning. It's going to be kind of funny. I'm going to warn you already. But we're going to open up behind the curtains a little bit about our personal lives. Actually, Janet, someone requested this, right?
Right.
If I remember correctly, you are my memory, so you remember everything. Yeah, someone requested that when we were looking for topics, I'll talk about how we met. It's an interesting story. Actually, it's the reason why. Well, the reason why we went to Atlanta this weekend was kind of historical. What did I say? A historical emergency. People think something happened, right? All you gotta do is reach out to us if you care that much. We appreciate that, by the way. But there was nothing really wrong. We'll talk about that as well. We'll start off with that, as a matter of fact.
Let me tell you, before we start off, you are so dramatic. You are so dramatic. People think you are just so chill, but you are so dramatic.
I'm chill. I lay in the cut. I don't mess with nobody.
An emergency, and have my phone blowing up.
I don't mess with nobody. I do my thing. I like my space. Minimalist. I don't like all this stuff around me. I drink my water. My bourbon, my cigars. Whatever. Just chilling.
And you're dramatic. Everybody is calling me. Is everything okay? What is something going on with the family? What is the emergency? I'm like, that's Sam being dramatic. And there's nothing wrong.
It was a historical emergency.
And, because it's glaring out at me, I'm sure it's glaring out at everybody else. This thing right here, I'm too old.
I didn't do it.
Too old to, oh my God. It's so annoying.
I didn't do it.
Anyway.
I don't bring any kind of stress in her life. I relieve the stress out of her life. That's part of my job.
Unless you're being extra.
No, I don't bring no stress in your life. I'm not that dude.
You're not that one? Not that
dude. Nah. Part of my job is to make your life as stress-free as possible. I think I've done a pretty good job of that, by the way.
Are you asking?
No comment? What? No comment?
You making a statement?
No comment? Let me try that again. Rewind. I think I've done a pretty good job of not, of relieving the stress in your life and not having your life all stressful like some of these other dudes with their lady,
Well, I will admit that.
Okay, all right.
You have, you don't give me any of the issues that a lot of people engage in. We don't engage in those issues, you nor I.
No.
And so
negative.
In the when we talk about a partner given that type of energy, that stressful energy, I feel like both of us have created an environment where that is definitely not one of the challenges that we face.
Right. Well, look, I'll see. That's why I like her. She didn't get no call because she was number one. Well,
exactly.
She's in that number one group that if something was going on, we would have called.
Exactly. And she knows.
She ain't
get no text. She ain't getting no mess. She ain't getting no phone call. If anything was wrong, I would have reached out.
Yeah. Give her a round of applause for that one. All right. And look, and then she follows that up with a low-key threat.
Okay.
She got goons. Whatever.
I got goons.
So hey guys, welcome to Facebook. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Sam G and JCG. We are going to talk about how we met.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna tackle that one. I'll start off by talking about the historical emergency. So we went down this past weekend. You know, Janet is the you're the oldest of your family. I'm the oldest in our family. Yeah. So you know, we're always get those calls and get those requests to help, you know, the younger siblings. So we went to hot Atlanta, to help the baby bro-in-law, with the purchase of a new car. Now, the funny thing is, he's talking to Janet on the phone. What was it? Wednesday, last week. And I go, man, you want us to come over there? Yeah. Come on, brother-in-law. Come on, help me. So we roll over there to help him out. Now, the cool thing about that was the reason why I was like, yeah, let's go, babe, because that's how we all met.
Yeah, that's how we met.
And that's
that you know, what we actually did was facilitate really the purchase, in making sure that he got the best deal, right, you know, that he could, you know, because I would tell you one thing, boy, you know, I think I'm a pretty good negotiator, you know, and I have a good poker face, you know, but sometimes what we do is, you know, we just like, I got this, I got that. You have to learn to walk in silence. You don't have anything, okay? We're just gonna listen right now. But we were able to help him facilitate that, you know, his purchase. You know, he got you know, my brother is really interesting, because on the way there, you know, he's talking like Ichabod Crane, like he's so tight, an ant can't get through how tight he is. Yeah. I want to be in this range. I'm not spending more than this.
No,
you know,
more than this, brother-in-law, more than this.
Okay. But when we get there and he sees, you know, they show him, you know, I have to narrow him down and keep him focused, because that dude was looking at that new, what was that car? That red car?
The Stingray Corvette.
Yeah, he's looking at that. I'm like, I need you to focus. Mm-hmm. We came here for a specific thing. Do not sit in the car. You know, I need you to focus. So he had his mind on one particular vehicle, the type of vehicle that he wanted when we got there, before we got there. But then once we got there, they gave him two options, and he just fell in love with the second car, you know, the second vehicle. And, you know, I mean, my brother does, you know, he does well. So he can afford whatever it is that he wants, you know. So I'm not, you know, we're not tripping on that. We just, no matter what you get, we need to get the best deal that we possibly can, you know, while everybody else eats. Okay. So that's what we ended up doing. So you want to start on how that's so relevant right now?
So it was November of 2011.
Yes.
Okay. So I had just recently moved. I'm 2 months in Atlanta, hot Atlanta. About 2 months into Atlanta, and starting to relocating there, and starting to rebuild my business, my insurance agency in Atlanta. And you know, when you're starting a business from the ground, you know, it doesn't start with the bank. So I fell back on one of my skill sets, which is sales, and particularly car sales. And I went to work for, I guess I could say the name, Heritage Volkswagen in Union City. And was it a Saturday or a Sunday?
It
Was
was a Saturday.
it a Saturday?
My whole Saturday. Yes, it was a Saturday.
Your brother has seen this car he had to have.
Uh-huh.
Now they came all the way over to Union City from Stockbridge, right?
Yes. So
Actually, you
my
came from
brother,
Marietta.
yeah, my brother lived in Stockbridge, and I lived in Marietta. So that's almost like the North Pole and the in the South Pole. I had to go to Stockbridge to get him because we were supposed to be going to like 5 locations for this one type of car that he wanted. And so instead of him picking the location that's closest to his house, he chose to go to a completely different location. And so I was mad. I was so mad. It makes sense to me. Okay, so I have an attitude because that's my
Big time,
Saturday. I
big time.
had an attitude.
So when
You
I
didn't even
see,
know I had an attitude.
oh yeah, I could tell. No, I didn't know. But when I see them, I'm thinking this is a couple, not prejudging nothing. Normally when you see male and female coming into the dealership, it's pretty much you can assume it's a couple. So I'm thinking it's a couple. But when I saw her, I felt the way, right? And I said, oh man, that's not cool. Let me stop, feeling like thinking that, this is a couple or whatever. But I couldn't, the feeling wouldn't go away, right? It was kind of raining that day. When I saw her, all I saw was sunshine, birds flying around her, like in the cartoon and stuff, right? So it was, I always, well, my goal is to excel no matter where I'm at. So I didn't hang around with the other salespeople. I hung around with the top sales people. And me and this other guy, we were like the top 2 at that dealership at the time. And he said, you know what, man, I'm gonna go to lunch. Why don't you have these people, right? So I go over there, see her and everything, and get that thought out of my head and just go to work. Couldn't shake the thought. And then I asked him what they're there for, and her brother knew what he wanted. I go, yeah, we still got that car and everything. And I don't think you even said hello.
Nope. I just got out the car and didn't say a word.
Didn't even say hello. So I'm going through the whole process. Well, let me stop right there. So let's let them hear that from your perspective of you guys pulling up, getting out of the car and everything.
We pull up. Now, like I said, I wasn't feeling it. I think I was in sweats. It was raining, so I was annoyed to be out there in them streets like that because, I came from Katrina. I don't like going anywhere in the rain. But in any case, we pull up and I see these 2 guys standing outside. And one of them, walk up to us. And my immediate thought, because I really don't like car salesmen, is, my experience. It's like, here come the sharks. That's how I was feeling. I didn't say that, but that's how I was feeling. And Sam comes over and he starts talking. And, it's not my party. I let my brother just, you're here for a specific purpose. You need to start, handle your business. So they're having this conversation, and it's that, that getting to know you kind of conversation. And I'm not saying a word.
Not one word. Okay. I'm like, so I go, okay, the wife don't want to be here. She does not want to be here. Let me make this as easy as possible and quick, right? Because he knew what he wanted. It was only one car that he came there looking for. He had already seen it online. But I'm thinking like, let's get these folks in and out because I know who rules I'm thinking like there are a couple guys. I don't know anything until I had to find out. So we're fast forwarding, right? Test drive the car, find out, make sure the car's what he wanted.
No, you didn't even wait that long. You asked us in the parking lot.
What, to come on in?
No, you asked us in the parking lot who was going to be the primary, who was the car for.
That was when I was doing the paperwork.
Really?
Yeah, some time had went by and I couldn't shake the feeling like, like what's up with this chick. I said, okay, here's how I'm going to find out. So as we're doing the paperwork, right, I'm still assuming they're a couple. Look at chick. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. So here's what I said. I said, okay, who's going to be the primary driver of the vehicle, you, sir, or your wife? And my brother-in-law goes, man, that's my sister. Just like
That's
that.
true.
Everybody turned
That's
around.
true.
He was loud with it too. That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear right there, man. Okay, it's going to be 2 deals closed today. We're closing 2 deals today. And after that, I started laying it on. Well, I don't say it like that because I'm not that kind of guy. I never thought I had like a Mac or whatever. I'm who I am. I want to let her know that I was interested. She wasn't hearing nothing. Nothing.
I didn't even look at you. I didn't even look at you.
Okay. Nothing. If you know me, you know I'm a closer and I don't quit. I didn't see no ring. The guy you was with is your brother. Your boyfriend, who, if you had one, wasn't there. So it was free reign to me. Right?
That was what you were saying in your mind.
That's what I was saying in my mind. It was free reign. No one was
and
there.
For me, I was like, how quickly can we get this done? And then, my brother, good morning. My brother was like, he was just pretty much, he wanted to look at it. Me personally, I never buy as soon as I see something. I leave it, and I take my time to make the decision because I never want to have buyer's remorse, right? So I'm thinking, well, we got 5 locations to shop this vehicle. That's not him. That's not him. That's not my brother.
He did not. He was not going to leave. He knew he wanted that car, and he came there to get that car. And he left with that car.
Yes, he did. And so while Sam is, talking about the vehicle, and and I've completely checked out. I am not paying Sam any type of attention whatsoever. I'm not hearing any signals. If he was throwing signals, I wasn't paying attention because I was just shut down. And and not only that, we ended up being there all day. I don't think that we actually left there until like 7 p.m. We were there like all day.
Yeah.
So I was just I was just annoyed from the moment. From before I got there, I was annoyed. And so that annoyance, it just carried on. Then what happens is what
happened?
They go on, we go on the test drive. And I didn't need to go on the test drive. But of course, and so I get in the back seat, my brother's like, Jen, you want to sit in the front seat? I'm like, no, this your party. I let Sam, Zaram, my brother was driving the car, and Sam was sitting next to my brother, and I was in the back seat because I'm like, no, I'm not there. But then the other part that really annoyed me was that the finance guy.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. My brother wanted that particular car, and the finance guy, when I tell you that he came and he was literally trying to talk my brother into a car that looked like a hearse, in my opinion. Okay. It wasn't a hearse, but for me, it was just like, that is so far left from where my brother wanted to be. That was just ridiculous. And I literally said, we're leaving. Let's go.
You did. That's one of those car games. I wasn't shown how to do the car business that way when I started back in 93, 94 out in California. It was all about taking care of the customer. And for me, and I had to kind of train those people there. It's not how I do business. Listen, I'm not keeping somebody here all dang day. We don't have to play these games with people. And that's how I was successful, selling cars. You didn't come to me if you want to be there all day. If you want to go back and forth, tell me what it is you're trying to accomplish, Mr. and Miss Klein, and I'm going to go and make it happen for you. So I was known to get people in and out, quickly, and I made a lot of friends and got a lot of referrals that way.
I mean, and he was extremely pushy. The finance guy was extremely pushy, and I was getting so mad because I was just like, that's not what we came here for. What do you think he is? 100 years old?
That's a tactic they use to, well, I don't know if I've been out of that game for a minute, but they were used to like kind of mentally make sure the customer is going to actually stay with the car that they landed themselves on. Because when you have a customer coming into the lot, they already know what they want. A lot of salespeople can't deal with that. So they're used to it. They're trained to show you 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, right? That kind of nonsense, and spend all that time doing all that stuff up front. No, I didn't do business that way. So as the day is progressing, what happened? What happened after that? Well, let me say this. I'm waiting for a signal. I'm waiting for guys, I am extremely patient. So I'm dropping hints. I'm doing it. I said, okay, what I need to look for now is a way to just come straight at her. Right. But I got to wait, because if I blow this, I won't get a second chance.
But let me tell you how that happened. Okay. So like I said, we were there. We're probably a good 5 hours in. This is how long that I had been there, and completely ignoring Sam.
Totally.
We had gone on a test drive, and no, it happened before the test drive. Well, Sam was sitting on the edge of his desk, and he was talking.
Yeah, that was before the test drive.
Yeah, he was talking, and he was just talking, whatever he was saying, I don't really know. But I finally looked up at him, and when I looked at him, it was like there was this around him. There was kind of like this the best way that I can say it is some type of aura. I literally saw, like and something around him, right? And so it made me I did a double take. I was like, what is that? I looked back again. I looked away, and then I looked back again. And when I looked at him the second time, he was literally looking me right in the eyes. And when Sam is real interesting. He has like this same color eyes as my best friend. They're kind of like a light brown, but his eyes were like shining, like popping like this, right? And so it gave me a whole lot of pause, because years before that, when my Aunt Ann was still, living, it was like, I had recently gotten divorced, and I had gone to Louisiana, and went to my aunt's house, and we were just talking, and my aunt said something about a soulmate, and I was like, Aunt Ann, I don't even believe that anymore. I said, and besides which, if I had a soulmate, he died, because I was my first husband, he passed away, and so I was a widow, and that's the person that I had considered to be my soulmate. I'm like, if I had one, he's already gone. I don't get another chance. And she was like, Jen. So she had to literally break that down, for me. And she gave me some instruction, right? And it's the same instruction that I give other people. Is write down whatever your criteria is, your the things that you like, and the things that not so much. Write it down, write out what you want in a mate. And then whatever that list is, half that list. So if you had 10 things, you're down to 5, and then you need to have that, because you really need to be specific about what it is that you need, right? You need, if you want God to answer your prayers, you really got to be specific. But is it more important to you to have the 6'11" guy, or him be everything else but not 6'11"? You know what I'm saying? So you got to be realistic in your expectation. And so once I had done that many years later, I realized that I really only have, like, when it comes to my deal breakers, I only have 3 deal breakers, just 3.
What are they?
You don't put your hands on me. You don't cheat on me. And, you just don't disrespect me, so, those are really it. And I'm firm. I'm very I'm extremely firm on those deal breakers. So I wrote it out. I tucked it in a drawer somewhere years later. Okay. So now fast forward when I see Sam's, I've never been that person who knew immediately that somebody was for me. I just never was that person. My mom dreamed about my father 2 years before she met him. My mom is from North Carolina. My dad is from Louisiana. What would have been the chances of them crossing paths?
Right.
But she had a dream about him, and when she did see him, she told her cousin Helen, "That's him. That's the man in my dreams." I've never had that experience, so this was the first time in my entire life that anything like that had happened. So I took notice of it. Once I took notice of that, and I'm like, okay, God, are you trying to, tell me something? It seemed like the veil was lifted, and I actually saw the person who had been standing in front of my face for 5 hours. I actually started seeing him and all his features. And I remember saying to myself, oh, wow, he has some beautiful skin. Oh, look at his eyes. Look at his teeth. Oh, he has dimples like me. All the things, right? And even like the tone of his voice. So I started paying attention, and once I started paying attention, then he moved in for the kill.
Yeah. So I don't know what, but I could sense something. Okay, wait a minute. And my mind was like, strike now, strike now. So I asked her out. No, the Volkswagen Touareg caught your eye.
Yes.
So that gave us, that was the first time that it was just you and I talking. Right. And that's when I went in for the kill.
Yeah, that's when you
close
went
the
in for the kill.
So funny thing though, that was a Saturday. And I think I had done so well that week or whatever. And so I asked her out
for the following Friday.
Right? And I'm like, wait a minute, man. Come on now. There's some other campaigners out there. You know what I mean? So let me go ahead and make this thing. Let me close this thing down. So I called you up, right?
You did.
And I said, hey, I don't want to wait till next weekend. Are you available? Are you free tomorrow? Which would have been Sunday.
Right? No, what you said was.
Oh, you remember? What did I say?
I know that there's some other campaigners out there.
I could have said that. Okay.
And I don't want to take the chance.
I'm straight up,
it's too long away.
Straight up. Hey, you're in Atlanta. I'm like, hey, I know, there's some presidential candidates.
All I could do was laugh. All I could do was laugh because he didn't know me, but it was the absolute truth. I was notorious. I would set dates and then I would cancel because whatever the reason was, I would cancel. And at the time that, I met Sam, I was really pretty much not even interested in dating anybody, at that time. I had lived in Atlanta for 10 years by this time. And, it was fun while it lasted, but I was over it. I had that particular, type of mentality. So, I could have, that's just how I was. I was jaded.
So there's something else came up, which was real interesting. I think it was pivotal in how, we got together. But let's take a quick break, guys, and we'll talk about that when we come back in about 30 seconds. And we're back. So you guys been listening to us sharing with you guys how we met. So We get to the point where I had asked Janet out and we agreed. It was for the following weekend. I called her up and said, hey, and I know there's some other presidential campaigners who are not qualified to even be in the race. So I don't want to wait. Let's meet tomorrow. Then as I'm eating breakfast at Waffle House, right, I get a late call. They tried to reach me the following, well, before I left the dealership. That, hey, we wanted to give you some tickets to the game. We wanted to invite you to the game because the dealership had, season tickets or whatever. You've done so great. You only been there for a couple of months or whatever. We want to, kind of treat you. So I said, man, what am I going to do? Right. So I called her up. Right. I did call you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, I got tickets to the game. And her response, I'm never going to forget it, was, why don't you go ahead and go to the game? And, we'll see, if we can meet up after that. Right. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So I went in. That was huge for me because it wasn't like she said, well, when you're going to choose the game, didn't have an attitude about it or whatever. So I went ahead and went to the game. It was an early game. I think the game was at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was an early game. So we would have time. And we ended up meeting for dinner at Atlantic Station, California Kitchen. And that was our first date.
Yeah. And, it was, for me, I love live sports more than I like watching anything on TV. And, I'm a diehard Saints fan, but if I have an opportunity to go to wherever I am, and see a live game, I'm all over it because there's so much going on. Those who know. So no, I wasn't, I'm chill. I'm chill. I'm so chill. I wasn't going to nail him for having that particular, opportunity or even wanting to go, because he didn't stand me up, right? He called and he said, hey, this came up, but I still, want us to hang out. And I'm just like, oh, I can work with that. I can deal with that. That's no big deal. Mm-hmm. You have to learn not to sweat the small stuff, and that was very minute in my opinion. That was very minute.
It spoke volumes also about how now we see how our relationship went from there. So we show up at California Pizza Kitchen, conversation. We just laid everything out on the table, man. Hey, here's what's going on with me. Here's what's going on with her. We closed the place down, actually. And we were together from that day forward.
Yeah, we closed it out. And every day, every day Sam called. He called every single day. He wanted us to get together every day, even if it was just for coffee, or whatever. And, was interesting is that, Sam had come, literally off the boat from California, and I had been in Atlanta, like I said, for about 10 years. And, realistically, if we're going to be honest and we're grown people, people got things going on, right? You got things going on, whether it's real serious or, you just have some interested parties, you have things going on. And, for me, it was like, yeah, we were interested in one another and we wanted to be together, but I'm not naive enough not to think that there's that, you've been here for a couple of months, or you came from California, or wherever you came from, there's somebody yet hanging on, right? Is yet hanging on. So, we had a conversation and I was like, okay, well, if this thing is going to work out, then, I'll give you time to get rid of your baggage, And even though I wasn't quote unquote technically like dating, I had people. So I needed time myself. In addition to that, I wanted to really see just how serious.
It was a test.
Yeah, I wanted to see how serious he was, So
Yes.
You know how it is when you're dating somebody and like, Sam and I would be going places and we would be so in tune right? We've always been really in tune with one another that, you're not answering the phones, none of this stuff. And, it's like, and then all of a sudden, you're not even getting phone calls. Then all of a sudden,
Oh yeah.
here
The
come folks
woodworks.
out the woodworks like roaches. Hey. Are they sending you pictures?
Yeah.
Y'all know the game. We grown. We know the game.
I'm coming from California to see you. No, you're not.
So those things started happening, right? Those things started happening. And there was one particular incident that I recall that happened. And I was like, listen, this is not what I'm signing up for. So, you can go on and, do whatever it is that you do. I'm out. And I meant that. Oh man, when I tell you Sam was not hearing that, Sam was not hearing that. Sam turned his cell phone off.
No, did we get new numbers?
We got new numbers, but before he was like, that's not happening. And and then it was like I said those words to him. But immediately after I said that, I started getting these 6 a.m. text messages.
You did.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good morning, sweetheart.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I had my number for, oh my God, since cell phones came out. I had the same number. It was a Louisiana number. I was never getting rid of my number. Guess what? We agreed. We changed our phone numbers. Mm-hmm. We changed our numbers, and we just cut out all of this stuff because here's the thing. We can commit to one another all day, right? That's not the problem. The issue comes when other people, you can't regulate what other people do. So what you end up having to do, you regulate yourself and you figure out how you're going to do that. And for us, it was changing our numbers and shutting all of that down.
Right.
And, that's pretty much what basically happened. And then we move forward. Sam was, what I can say about him is that he was very, very intentional, like from the very beginning. He was like, we're going to be married in a year. I'm not playing. I'm not dating you forever. I don't want a girlfriend. I want a wife. We're going to be married, in a year. And this is what we're going to do. And so, because he led from the front, he did that. And he showed me that I could trust in, being chill, being relaxed and letting him lead, and I could trust that he would be a man of his word, because I tested him. I watch. I don't say a whole lot, but I'm watching you all the time.
All the time.
And I have perfect recall.
Perfect.
Recall. Almost like an elephant. Perfect recall.
Down to the second.
It's ridiculous. So, that's how we ended up. That's how we ended up doing, that's how we ended up meeting, and that's how we ended up getting together. And one of the things that I'll say is, like, Sam is a complete nerd. And clearly, that's the thing that I need in my life because I'm nerdy as well. I feel like Sam kind of, he definitely balances me. He's very, very calm. He is a rarity that he raises his voice. Rare, very, very rare. And I mean, we have gotten into our disagreements. Our disagreements are really hilarious because it's just
nobody can stay serious about it. We end up laughing about stuff.
It's pretty much a word, a word here, a word there, and then it's kind of like it's kind of over. We're over it. And for me, we're over it. I'm over it because it hasn't crossed the line of my deal breakers. You know, I can rock with Sam, and we have rocked. You know, we've been together for 10 years, you know, and we've had our share of challenges, you know, within our time together. But nothing has been so detrimental that it has crossed into my deal breakers.
You haven't had to pull the knife out.
No, I I may have threatened.
You say it a lot. I don't know why.
I don't say it a lot.
You used to say that a lot. I'm like, what's wrong? What's up with this, man?
I will cut you. I need you to understand. I will cut you.
I'm like, you feel having flashbacks from somebody else or something. It ain't me. I'm just gonna sleep with one eye open for a little bit until she get over that.
You know, he's we're pretty cool. And you know, like I said, when it comes to respect, it's the respect of one another. You know, I will raise my voice a little bit more, or get, you know, my tone to get a little more stern on some things. You know, it's just certain things that I might notice. Like, as all of you know, Sam's business requires him to talk to a lot of people all the time. And, you know, I'm simply not a jealous person. I'm just not, you know, I'm not jealous, but at the same time, you know, if I have room for pause, you better pay attention. And I remember this, and I don't trip. I don't nag. I'm not that girl. I'm just not that girl. You know, I have other things going on, and I don't want a mate who I have to raise. You know, that's been an issue, you know, period. I don't want someone that I have to watch constantly. You're not my child. You're a grown man. But with Sam, you know, and sometimes he gets so into his zone, you know, and he's a very helpful person, right? He extends a helping hand all the time. And I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, what are you doing? There have been a few times where, you know, he has been talking to people, and when I look up again, this person is like calling him constantly for advice. Okay, calling him constantly for advice. It was this one time when, you know, this particular potential client had a fiance. She had a fiance. But every time I turned around, you know, I would be, and this is how it happened with me. I'd be in my lair working. We're never too far away from one another. We haven't worked outside the home. And even the last time we worked outside the home, we worked together.
Same.
So we're always somewhere within the vicinity of one another.
And all of my calls are on speakerphone.
And so are mine. You know, it's like that. That's just how it is over here at GBS. But this person, I'm working, and then all of a sudden, I got my head down working, and all of a sudden I'm like,
What was said? What was it?
I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was just the fact. And I went to you and I said, listen, I said, was that such and such? And you said, yeah. I said, I'm just curious as to why she is constantly calling you. Doesn't she have a fiance or a boyfriend? Does she have parents? Why is she calling? What makes her call you all the time? You know, Sam got a little defensive, right? And I said, listen, here's the thing. You can do what you want to do. I said, but it's a problem. Okay?
That's all I need to hear.
If a person is calling you and deferring to you who they don't know, she's never met him, they don't have any type of history together, and, you know, how are you the expert in her life, period? Okay, I understand that you're the expert in this arena, but how are you the expert in her life, period? You know, and so you can take that information and process it however you need to process it, but it's a problem for me. And if it's a problem for me, it's going to be a problem for you. And so he was like, he wasn't hearing it in that moment, but trust and believe, by the end of the day, when he actually thought about it, because I shut up after that. He was like, oh, mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm not doing this. I'm not going down this particular, rabbit hole. And so it's, that you respected.
Chicken wicca.
Exactly. She knew what she was doing. Okay. She knew what she was doing. And you have times when those things happen. I mean, hey, listen, we'll go to the grocery store and these old ladies,
Oh my God.
will out and out, flirt with him. I'm just
I'm
like,
never gonna forget this lady. What, we're in Mississippi.
yes.
I'm like, ma'am, I'm married. There's my wife right there. She don't mind. Your wife won't mind. Oh, yes, she will.
Yes, she will. I'll be smiling.
Why was it a
I might
problem?
be smiling,
That was a problem. What Janet was just talking about, guys. When I'm doing my business, I'm all into my business because I'm really focused on helping someone. So this person had crossed the line without me being aware of it. To sum it up, and that's one of the reasons why I like my wife as my partner, because she'll see things that I don't see, especially in that arena. Because I'm not looking at you in that way, and I don't take it like someone's looking at me in that way. But that's what happened. The person had kind of slowly, kind of easily crossed the line. What
easily. And it had
without me recognizing it, right? So that's what that was about.
This had gone on, really for about a month.
Nah, not the old ladies that be talking to me. They was like, you want some cookies?
Yeah, you want some milk and cookies.
Speaking of that, now this funny story, I'm never gonna forget this. While we're in Fayetteville, and my wife, we're taking care of my mother-in-law, and I think my mother-in-law kept saying she wanted to go shopping. Well, we're trying to get her out of the house.
She did. She said she wanted to go shopping.
She wanted to go. Okay, so we're going to do this for her while we could, while she still could do it. So we take her shopping. So they go to the ladies' part. I forgot what store we at. I go to the men's. I didn't see anything I wanted, right? Because I'm particular when I shop. I ain't got time to be looking all around and wasting time. So I go to find them. As I'm coming over there, this lady, what did the lady say? I forgot what she said, but she came right out. No shame in her game. Now, Janet was right over there.
I heard her. I heard her. And I wasn't paying attention. I don't pay attention to the females, really. I pay attention to
the bald head.
All right, Keisha.
My mother-in-law. Where is your wife? I'm like, what?
I am in the women's section pulling garments for my mom to bring back to her.
She was sitting down
so that she can pick whatever she wants. And I heard the lady. And then I heard Sam. And when I heard Sam's voice, I kind of lifted up my head and I was like, okay, what's up? And my mom at the same time
come and touch me. I don't like nobody touching me. She was coming into my space.
I heard Sam say, And at the same time, my mom said, where is your wife? Okay.
It was loud.
And all I said was, babe, just like that. That's all I said, babe. and the lady comes around and she was like, oh, I didn't mean no harm. You're his wife. I'm like, Well, and she said something about him being nice looking.
She was still trying to mac, even though you came up. She was still macking.
I said, obviously, he's a good looking man. I already know that. He's my husband. I look at him every day. But my mom, but Sam, like I said, all jokes aside, Sam, people are going to come on to you or come at you, right? All the time. If you're it's the people that's in the relationship, right? That have to respect and regard the relationship, and so Sam, he does a good job in making sure that he remains respectful to me for the, for overall. He remains respectful to me, to us, and to our relationship.
Well,
And it's
I've
going
never
to be
been
the
the
same.
dude. I've never been the guy. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, people, everyone knows what I'm about to say. I've never been that brother that pride himself and have 2, 3, 4, 5 chicks or women. I just got to stop saying chicks now. That's old school. That's never been me. I can go all the way back to when I first start dating in high school. It's never been me. And I've known my truth and I've never deviated from it. Right. So imagine that. I think they call them what now? Simps. Right. So like the what's the football player?
Oh, Sierra's husband.
Yeah, that's nothing new how people have talked about guys like that. We were not the cool guys, right? We were not the guys that most girls wanted to, be with because it was that bad guy syndrome. But I've never been that way. So you've never had to worry about that. I mean, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
And like I said, people will try you, and you just have to,
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
like I said, it's I'm not in the relationship with the people, right? But I will check you if I need to. I have no problem with that. I'll check you, and whatever else I need to do. But the person that I'm coming to initially is the person that I'm in the relationship with. And I'm in, I say the word relationship, and I just remembered that people really get upset that I term us as a relationship, that I don't really term us as married, right? Somebody asked me one day, how long have you and Sam been married? And I was like, well, our relationship, we've been in a relationship for how many years it had been at that time. And they literally got mad, at me.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, they got mad. And because it's a marriage. I said, well, it's a relationship. We are legally married. Yes, we are legally married. We're legally bound to one another. But if you take the marriage away, it's still a relationship. It's been a relationship before it was married. We didn't come out the gate being married. So we honor the relationship, we honor, like the commitment that we made to one another. And so when I guess it's a good thing them old crows think you're cute.
She on it today, man. She must have had a good weekend. She woke up bright and early. She got that good coffee this morning.
She know what I'm talking about. She married to a light bright, handsome guy.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Smooth dresser and everything.
She know what the deal is.
Hey, Keisha Burns, I'm so happy that you're feeling better. We'll probably have to. I would like to have you on this show sometime. And also, babe, she's a great singer. Well, it was on Facebook. I don't know the story behind it, but that's one of my California friends. And I won't tell the story. She might not want that me to say that. But I'm glad you're feeling better.
We were actually talking to one of your cousins, about, how we met yesterday, and some of the, I think that with one of the things with Sam and I is that we've both been around the block once or twice, maybe 3 times, right? And so through your life experiences, you realize what it is that you're looking for, what you need in a partner, and what you don't. And so when Sam, not long after we had gotten married, a few years into the marriage, y'all know this story. Sam got really, really sick. He got really, really ill. And, I was terrified that I was going to be a widower again, right? And, we were in the hospital for like 2 weeks.
You were for 45 seconds.
Yeah, I was a widower for 45 seconds, but we were in the hospital for like 2 weeks and I never left. And what struck me really about that is that people were telling me, it's like more than one folk, right? We're saying, I'm so proud of you for sticking by your husband during this in this time. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, most people would have left. And the way that my personality works is that even if we weren't on good terms, even if we were in the process of like ending our relationship, and you had fallen ill, Sam, where at this time he wouldn't have been able to call anybody, right? I was there. Even if we weren't getting along, even if we weren't going to be in a relationship, I would not have left him. I would have never left him. I wouldn't have left him until some member of his family was able to show up. So, it was foreign to me to think that I was actually that was actually people were praising me for staying.
Yeah.
When your vows say for good or for bad, for rich or for poor, in sickness and in health, it's like things can't be rosy all the time. The storms of life will certainly come. They will surely come. You're going to have all kinds of highs, lows, peaks, and valleys. When finances, you don't bail when things go wrong. And it's been proven to me time and time again that you see the true measure of a man or woman in the valley. Not when things are going, extremely well. And so, we during that particular time, Sam, whether I was his wife or not, he needed someone to take care of him. He needed somebody to be there for him, and for me, it was like I simply could not leave him in that space. I could not. I felt like it would have been detrimental if he didn't feel somebody's presence that he knew and trusted in the room. That's how I felt.
Yeah, you were hot about that. Sounds like you're still hot about that, thinking about it. People came to you and said that to you, especially the people who were actually ones who came and said it to you. It's people we knew. Yeah, you didn't like that at all. I wanted to touch on, let me find this real quick. Well, I'll come back to it once I find it. A lot of good comments, guys. Thanks for your comments and questions and all and everything. Marriage coming together. Yeah. Let me see if I can find the one. Absolutely. And it was more than, it wasn't just one or two people.
Right. It was several people who said that. And then I started thinking maybe that's an Atlanta mentality.
Here it is. This right here, I didn't want to, because this was the actual question. That is true. I'm not sure in the car business I'm sure there is, because that business got some hard line, practices that they just do consistently over and over. But I was always taught that when you see the couple, it's the lady, it's the spouse you need to be directing your attention to, because that's why they're there, and the spouses control the money relationships mostly anyway. And what do you mean by that, right? Well, they have great influence on how we spend and what we spend on. Most guys won't admit to that, but that's just a fact.
I think that in that, I do agree with you, Chick, in your overall comment. I think that, and I'll tell you why, is that I've purchased a couple of vehicles on my own, right? And, I remember when I went and picked up my SUV, it was said to me that, you can't negotiate. You need to know what the sticker price, you need to pay the sticker price, And my uncle, I spoke to my uncle and my dad, and the advice that my father gave me is that, you need to know what the blue book value is of the vehicle, and then start your negotiation from there, right? And then my uncle, he was like, okay, you need to go to this particular dealership and you need to ask for this particular person and tell them that I sent you. So I did both things. I researched, the blue book. I knew what my number was going to be. When I went to the dealership, the person that my uncle told me to talk to wasn't there. They were going to be there the next day. So I looked at the vehicle that I wanted. I chose it. And the next day, I went back to talk to the person that my uncle told me to. And I went and I said, told her who I was, told her who my uncle was, and told her what I was interested in. We did the whole, test driving of the vehicle, and not looking at anything else because I really wasn't, I knew what I wanted. She slid the piece of paper to me on the desk with the amount that of the vehicle, and the amount of the amount that she slid across to me was less than my amount. So I got, and that whole paying the sticker price, I was nowhere near the sticker price of that SUV. Then the next time, it's like, yes, I think that anybody would try to take, advantage or look at you as a disadvantage, right? So I feel that it's important that you always know your numbers. Ladies, men, whoever, you should always know your numbers. So the next time I went to purchase a vehicle, we were talking about this the other day too, babe. Mm-hmm. I saw the guys in the in the glass doors, and they kept peeking. So I'm sitting there, with my daughter, and they just kept looking, and I'm like, what is these people looking at? My salesperson comes to me and he says, I got some good news and I got some bad news. Which one you want to hear first? And so I'm like, the bad news. And this is what he says. He says that my car note, okay, on the vehicle that I wanted was going to be, I'm just going to throw a number out, like $900 a month, right? Because it was way more than what I knew it was going to be. And I said, no, that's not what my car note is. I said, I said, I know what the car is worth, and I know what my credit score is. So that part won't work for me, and I guess we'll be leaving. And then he says, wait. He says, I was just messing with you. He says the reason that we were out there, that those guys kept looking, I don't know if you saw that or not, but I'm so proud of you. Now, this is a person that I don't even know, okay? And I'm not looking for your approval or your praise. So that doesn't even impress me because I don't even know you. But he was so proud of me because of my credit score. And I assumed that other people like me, they don't they weren't managing their business. Okay. Is really what he relayed to me. And, it's like I told Sam, for me in that moment, right? I don't care about any of that stuff, your opinion or, anything like that. I'm here for the business of getting a vehicle. I don't want to be here all day. Let's get this paperwork done so I can drive off, with my vehicle of choice. But for my daughter, right, for my child, it was that lesson of being responsible for her to actually see that in action. That's the only thing that I got out of that particular situation. I didn't need all of the other stuff. I'd be focused. I don't have time for that. So yeah, I agree with what Chick said. I think that we all have to just, historically men think that women aren't astute on matters of business. And I think that needs to change.
Let me go back to when you were talking about how when I got sick, um, And it was kind of actually, if I had a decided to keep on going into the light, if you will, guys, one thing I had in place was, it was a lot of life insurance in place. So even then, kind of tie this into like a money, teach you guys about how to, deal with your money a little bit. Also, the fact that we've been having a lot of discussions with people about wills and trusts and things like that. That was, I mean, it was in place. So I always joke that, Janet and the new guy would have been well off. They would have been doing pretty well. She don't like it when I say that. But anyway, all that was in place. So if I had made the decision not to come back to the light, to not go to the light, she would have been well taken care of from a me planning perspective. Let's see if we miss any comments. No one wanted to come on with us this day and discuss relationship. I don't think I missed anybody, did I?
I think that, I wanted to kind of highlight on what Dexter said. Marriage is a covenant until death, put two people apart versus the concept of marriage today. A lot of people see it as a contract. Well, legally it is a contract. But it depends on how each individual looks at it. Now, I believe that Sam and I actually had a covenant marriage, as well as of course we are legally, married. But I will agree that people get married today with the option of divorce, right? And Sam and I have both been married, before. One marriage ended in me being a widow, and the other one did end in divorce. And I was very much on board with that particular divorce, for my own personal reasons. And Sam had his reasons for his marriage is ending. Sometimes things don't work out. And sometimes, you marry a person's representative. And then you find out, and sometimes people, you have to be, at the end of it all, you have to be intentional. I absolutely believe, had I known what I know today, you have to be, I probably wouldn't have even gotten married until I met Sam had I known what I know today. You have to be intentional, and it can't be like a fad, because marriage is, it's being married and raising kids is,
it's a contact sport.
Yeah.
You gotta be in it to win it.
You got to be in it to win it, because you just can't bail. You just can't bail over. You can't bail over him drying his hands on the decorative towels. Okay.
That wasn't me, by the way. That's an inside joke.
That's an inside joke.
That was not me. This was a good chat.
So let me ask you a question.
Excuse me.
Do you think, in your opinion,
just for me?
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Do you think that it's more important? Do you think that love is more important, or do you think that commitment is more important?
Commitment.
And tell us why. Look, Angel. I got my sisters on the line.
You married the representative.
You got to rewatch the tape, girl.
Yeah, you got to roll back, rewind.
So why do you think that commitment is more important?
I say commitment because, well, you can have love. That's not the difficult thing to have, right? And I think that if you base it solely on love primarily, because you go in and out of love. It's not a constant level with the love thing. It's up and down, in my opinion. Commitment, however, I can be committed to loving you. So that's more actionable to me, right? So that commitment that I have allows me to express my love and be actionable even in the love that I have for you. So that's why I chose commitment. Commitment also keeps you out of a lot of trouble or potential trouble. It keeps you focused. For me, it keeps you focused on the relationship. It just does a whole lot more because, a lot of people don't take that four-letter word love for what what it's meant to be, right? Me saying I love you doesn't mean I got two or three people on the side, right? It doesn't mean I degrade you and talk about you or talk bad to you in public or in private for that matter. It doesn't mean I take the money, the income that we have, and then go to Vegas and gamble it off, right? If I'm being committed to myself and being committed to being in a relationship with you and being committed to you, to me, that has more weight because just from the fact that I'm there with you, the love is already there because I'm not going to be with you if there's no love there. So that's why I answered commitment to your question.
I hear you.
Oh, there it is right there. Whoever that is summed it up for me.
Right. Commitment is an intentional decision to move forward every day. It's a decision making tool, right? I see Chick, and I agree with Chick, is that we need to bring Angel on so that she can, in her opinion, we can have Angel and Hank on to talk about marriage and relationships, because if I know anybody, okay, that can express all the nuances of the roller coaster ride that marriages can bring, it's definitely Angel and Hank, and still come out on top. They have an amazing story, and of course, we that have witnessed it, we know the deal. I think that so let me ask you this, in us talking about, now you say that you knew immediately, and I was a little slower to the table with it. Did you feel that you were in love with me, or what was your feelings? What was it?
In the beginning, or
yes,
when I first saw you, or what?
When you first saw me and in the beginning.
The feeling was, for me, was a spiritual connection. See, I didn't notice your sachet until later, actually until we went to dinner. If you know what I mean by sachet, I'm trying to be respectful of you. I didn't notice any of that until we had gone to dinner. But it was a connection. Like, okay, if I think about it, I think one of the thoughts I had was like, I'm at least going to be friends with this lady. If we can't, make a relationship, because she, this connection, I don't want it to go away, or it might not be a relationship, right? So I, you know how me, babe, I play things in my head, all different types of scenarios. Mm-hmm. So it was a connection for me, which led into the commitment to being around you. See, there's that word commitment again, because literally, guys, from day one, I was like, nah, this shit ain't getting out of my sight. So I kind of had free reign on my job. I was coming to see you in the middle of the day, remember? Mm-hmm. You're like, we going to lunch? Yeah, we're going to lunch. I'm coming to pick you up. I lost my train of thought. Did I answer your question?
Okay, the in love part.
When did I know I was in love? You remember that day you had made dinner, that 2 weeks that you were cooking for me every day? That 2 weeks I was eating good, boy, I was eating good. But after that, ooh, went down.
I think that, like for me.
No, wait a minute. I wasn't done asking. Remember, we were having dinner. I think we had Cornish hens.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked over to you and told you.
You did tell me.
That was a week and a half in, 2 weeks in.
I think that, for me, like, you always have these stories of people that were like so passionately in love, right? And that wasn't my experience, right? I knew that I liked you, and I knew that there was something. I still wasn't exactly sure what it was, but there was that something. as far as the love was concerned, it was that the love has always been steady for me. Like, I haven't had highs and lows and peaks and valleys of my emotional connection to you. It's always been steady. And over the course of the years, you know, it has grown, right? It is a steady incline, but it's not one of those things where I'm sick to my stomach, I can't eat, you know, that kind of thing. That thing that other people talk about, right?
Right.
I just don't feel that that type of love is real sustainable, because in my opinion, that kind of love, me you always have to entertain me. You
Right.
always, and
I always have to be loving you.
you always have to be loving me, and so in I think that's real selfish, in my opinion.
Well,
So when it's like, when we show each other our love language is very, very different than anything else, that I've experienced. And I think you have too. And it's not difficult. This is like, this is the easiest, even though we faced a whole lot of challenges, and we faced a lot of challenges in 10 years is really a relatively short period of time. But even in those challenges, you know, our relationship is so easy, and it's really, really easy just loving you and being with you. And I like you so much. I just really, really, I like you, and I love listening to you. I was telling his cousin, and you people aren't used to you talking this way, right? But it's the dialect, it's the tone of the voice, it's what he has to say. I actually listen to Sam, and I regard his opinions, and that's just really, that's something that's really, really important to me. I don't feel like I know more than him. There are things in our sphere that I feel like I have a little bit more knowledge in on some things, but you know, I don't I don't feel like there's nothing that he can't tell me, because he adds value, to my life every single day. We run, and we really run everything past one another.
you
And
know,
then it's the you know, it's the kids. When we got together, our children were grown.
right.
They were grown. So we didn't have to worry about, quote unquote, being parents to other people's children. And that's a whole nother story. Life experiences, that's a whole nother story. But I found it real interesting, okay, that something like our children's, like their names, the commonality, okay, like I have two kids, everybody knows that, or if you don't now, and Sam has one, and all of their names begin with the letter R.
Yeah.
R.
Crazy.
Not only that, is that if you put the two of us together and then you put the three of them with us, we all look like we're connected.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Weird.
it's real interesting. We all look like we could be a part of the same DNA. So that's really, I think that's, you got any, you have any questions?
No, I want to answer this question. There's some more comments coming in as well. I felt the love. I'm a feeling kind of person. Wasn't a choice for me. How about you?
Did I choose to love, or did I feel the love? I felt love. I felt love.
Oh boy. I know what we could not have these two sisters at the same time, man. I mean, maybe we should talk about a high-rated show. The numbers would be through the roof, right? Look at this one right here. You know what? It's funny that chick says that because that's what one of your aunties told me. Ain't true?
Wait, he's stuck like Chuck because if he went anywhere, all my people would be after him. They'd be coming for him.
With knives.
They would cut him for sure.
Yeah, buddy. With that voodoo dust.
Including these two that keep commenting.
Come on, put some more voodoo dust on them, guy. You know, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. We're going to probably do it big. Well, we will be doing it big, a trip somewhere. Someone's asking me how long have we been married. So 10 years this coming February, next February. Actually, we're going to be moving that month.
Yeah, we probably won't be doing anything. The big thing that we'll be doing next year is moving.
It's moving. You know, we've been discussing that, talking about the move. We're getting ready to shut this down, guys. We got about 9 minutes left. You know, we've been really looking at moving, getting a house and all that, right? Versus getting an RV and being, you know, adventurous. So maybe we'll
I mean, you can't say that we're not, you know, I mean, we're pretty much, we've been nomads for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you
no,
know.
it's not that we don't like Fayetteville. Is I think for us, we're so far away from everyone. Someone asked me why when we stay here on the East Coast, we're just so far. That's the simple answer, right, Janet? We're so far from everyone. And my parents are in their 70s, so we really thinking that we need to be closer to them.
Right. You know, like we said, when we had our initial conversation on our very first date, we knew that we talked about helping our parents in their golden years. You know, we had that discussion because, you know, for me personally, it was something that was very, very important to me. And I had always had a conversation with my mom that she would probably end up living with me if she got to a place where she could no longer live by herself. So she and I had this conversation for years, you know, for forever. It's like, as long as you can still be independent, you know, do your thing. But mom, please know that once it comes a time where you can't, you know, you will more than likely be living with me. So when Sam and I had that initial conversation, he was actually feeling the exact same way about his own parents. So that was another one of those commonalities that I didn't have to worry about. I didn't have to worry about having to choose between, you know, caring for my elders and, you know, my husband, you know, banking out on me because I'm giving more attention to the person that's in need at that time. And so when my mom, when this thing started happening with my mother and my aunt, you know, when we came here, Sam is the one who, you know, because my mom was fighting with me, you know, initially and stuff. And Sam is the one who said, babe, we can't go. We can't go. You know,
we can't leave.
We can't leave, you know, and you know, we ended up, you know, he took the L, right? He had to pack up his business, you know, and get settled, you know, and figure out how to work his business from the point where we were at that time. And then move us, you know, none of that fell on me.
That was a lot.
All of that fell on Sam. He moved us, you know, from Louisiana to North Carolina so that I could take care of my mother, you know, and, you know, like we said, his parents are up in age now, and it is absolutely, you know, it's their turn. You know, the kids are, you know, your kids want you there, right? They want you right around the corner, or, you know, they want you coming all the time. That's a want. That's not a need. When your parents get of a certain age, then there is a need. And so it's, you know, and I may not like Mississippi, just like I didn't like Fayetteville. I didn't want to live here.
You didn't. You did not want to stay
I
here.
did not want to stay.
I'm like, you tripping, man. Go sit
But
down.
we do what we must do.
Right.
In those times of needs, we do what we absolutely must do. And then, God takes care of the rest. I can't say that he hasn't, provided and taken care of us when we didn't know what we were doing. We were just moving. We just had to, it's like that.
Let's see what this one was. Then we're getting ready to shut this down.
Look at her. A relationship that reached maturation. Oh,
She's using her degree now. I see.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me look that up.
How do you pronounce that word? Maturate? How do you say that?
It's maturation.
Well, you know what? Let's give a little bit more detail. I keep saying this, right? Guys, when we had that first dinner, when I say we laid everything out on the table, these things, what Janet was just saying about us taking care of parents, those are the things we talked about in detail.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at that, hearing me say that out loud, that laid the foundation, Janet, for how we move from that day forward, as far as with one another, how we care about the kids and also our parents. So we didn't have to, there was never a time like, when we came here to see your mom, there wasn't like, well, I got to go back, I don't want to be here, my business not here. It wasn't that. Because that foundation was already laid. It was like, okay, and like she just told you guys, I had to convince her to stay. Here's what we got to do. Here's what we're doing, right? We're going to stay here. We're going to, start, getting her healthcare lined up, and just kept moving from there and just doing. You obviously can't leave your mom at the time that that I had to get everything back. So I went, moved the storage from Atlanta, moved the storage from Louisiana. We had all our stuff here. We found a place to live because we knew she wasn't going to be able to stay by herself for too much longer. That we were just following the blueprint that we had already laid out from the get-go, from day one. That's why communication is key. Commitment to the relationship, to one another, to yourself, to you being a good person on behalf of that person you're choosing to be with. And if you throw that word love out there to that person you're choosing to love. Right. All of that was laid out from the beginning. So we've never had to have those decisions, or me being the guy and saying, I'm not doing this. I'm not taking care of your mom. She's my mom. Guys, that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people go through that. We had, she mentioned before, we had been around the block. We knew what we wanted in a relationship. We made those wants and desires known. Neither one of us had to guess on how to love each other. We knew, right? What each other's, love language was, and we just move from there. It's not something special. I think anyone committed to a relationship or committed to a person can do the same thing. It has been done. I shouldn't say it like it hasn't been done, but yeah.
I think that one of the things that you see, I ask questions of people all the time, right? One of the things, Angel, that I absolutely agree with what you said, that conversations are crucial. Conversations are, but real conversations, right? You have to be, don't tell me. I've never been the kind of person who I want you to tell me what I want to hear. No, I want you to tell me the truth. Tell me, lay it out for me. No, regardless of how harsh it might be, lay it out for me so that I can dissect it and, be able to make a firm decision moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
People, what my experience has been in dealing with people is that we throw out the word love all the time. I love him. I love her. I love him. I love him. I love him. In the same breath, you have absolutely no common ground. I have heard people talk about how they love somebody, but there's never anything positive that they say about that person. Never anything positive that they say. And, everything that comes out your mouth is negative. So when I ask the question, okay, well, wait a minute. Tell me why you love that person. What is it about that person that you love? They stop. Crickets.
They don't have an
Like,
answer.
you don't
Right?
understand what I just said. And then I'm like, okay, give me three things, just three, because I have heard 20 things that you completely dislike about this person. Give me three things, but you say you love them. Give me three things that you love. And you can't. You are in love with a potential, right? I think that this person is a good person. They have the potential to be a good person. But what are they today? Be honest with yourself. Being honest with yourself will eliminate a lot of heartache. If you know that you're the marrying type, right? If a woman knows that she's wife material and the guy is telling you that he never wants to get married, it is not your job or your mission in life to convince him that he needs to wife you up. You're wasting your time. Save yourself for the dude who wants to be in a committed relationship. Because this brother has, whoever Dexter is, Dexter has told you where he's at. You just didn't want to believe him. This is how we get ourselves caught up, in precarious types of situations. It's that we're not really upfront, and then we're not honest with ourselves. When I was hanging out, doing my thing, moving and grooving, dun 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 dun.
Shaking a tail feather.
Yes, all of the things that I was doing. I knew that I didn't even think that I would get married again. I had no desire to get married again, and so I did. I moved in that particular manner. I moved in a particular manner, right? And then I had to have the conversation with myself. Well, Jan, okay, you've had your fun. You know that you're a settled person, that you need to just chill. You need to just chill, and be true to yourself. And so, and then I made that decision for me. There was nobody in my life. So I made that decision for me. And then Sam came around the corner. Kudos to a man willing to keep it transparent and real. Most people lie and get stuck on sex and superficiality. Yep. Or just desperate to settle. Absolutely. That's you, and that's the truth. Time's up on
She ain't taking a hit anyway.
Yeah, he is giving me the Grammy music.
We got stuff to do, man. We took time off. We got to get back to work up in here. But who we got? We got a guest coming on Wednesday, right?
Yes, we do. We have a young photographer who is doing big things. She has been published multiple times. Yeah. So she's doing really, really good things, and I love her to life. I just love her.
Looking forward to Wednesday. We got a guest on Friday as well.
Oh, yes, we have a guest on Friday. Another person who is doing really big things. She has had her own business for a few years, and she is always transitioning and growing, and she's doing it big. I cannot wait to chat with her.
Yeah, creative to creative. I might just hang out in the background on Friday's show and operate the studio. Yeah, we would love to have a couple on here. I mean, we've asked some people, and people like afraid or whatever. I don't know. You guys, we're on here just chatting, right? It's not a big deal.
I'm glad you rolled up too, Angel.
Yeah, that would be a fun one, right? Wednesday guest, Friday guest. We also will be doing. I should have my drum roll. Virtual happy hour on Friday.
Oh, are you?
We're going to do virtual happy hour on Friday.
Provided nobody else calls us with a daggone SOS. Right.
We don't have to go out of town. So virtual happy hour this Friday has been delayed or postponed twice now. We got to make it happen. Not sure how we're going to format that. We can do it from here, but I want to have guests on. We can have up to 10 people on this platform. So If you want to participate in that instead of just being on the other side watching, we would love to fill up our slots. Total of 10 people, so we need 8 more people to come on here with us. Drink what you want to drink, guys. It could be tea, it could be lemonade, whatever, but come on, virtual happy hour, right? It is what it is. Stop that. Anything else, Jan, before we go?
Nope, I'm good. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this feedback that my people are giving. These crazy girls.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Babe, you've only been around Chick. You haven't had the pleasure of being around Chick and Angel at the same time. I don't know if you can handle it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
Whole bottle of bourbon, whole case of bourbon for that one. I'm not sure what the topic is going to be for happy hour. It'll be a grown folks conversation for sure. I don't know. We'll think of some good topics, and you guys can let us know what you want the topic to be for virtual happy hour. That'd be awesome. Give us some options there.
There you go. So, libation therapy.
Okay, well, that's it, Janet. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us this morning. Tune in Wednesday and Friday, also Friday for virtual happy hour. Have a very successful week, and we'll see you later. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.